All right. Another day, another senseless shooting. This time, it was children playing hide and seek. Now, we can have a discussion about how intelligent it is to go into someone else's yard to play hide and seek. That is definitely a conversation that can be had, and you could say that these kids were stupid for doing that. However, that does not deserve being shot. So, this girl in Louisiana got shot in the back of the head. She has non life threatening injuries, so that's good. But she got shot in the back of the head because some guy, some jittery dipshit, who is afraid of his own shadow, saw shadows in his yard and shot at people running away and then didn't know that he actually hit the girl. Again, what is with these people who shoot in the direction of people and then are surprised when the bullet hits something? What do these people normally can't find their ass with two hands and a flashlight? What the hell is stop? Why do they not think that they might actually kill someone or injure someone if they shoot a gun? This is just maddening. But he was arraigned, and let's see, what was his bond? Now he's 58 years old, so he's not, a jittery young kid, nor is he a jittery old man, just a jittery middle-aged man. But where does it say his bond? I know it mentions a bond. So his bond was set at $300,000, and he's been assigned a public defender. And nobody's returning calls. So he was charged with aggravated battery, 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, and illegal discharge of a firearm. So that's all I have so far on that story. But it's just maddening. Now, I could understand if it was dark out and there's been crime in the area. Okay, I could understand the jitteriness. But in broad daylight? What the hell? What do you think is happening in broad daylight? I swear the NRA has gotten so many people so scared of anything that moves that it's just become ridiculous. These people do not deserve to be in society because they've shown that they are no longer capable of living in society. I mean, if they were capable, they would be freaking out over every bump they hear, every shadow they see. They would just be like, oh, I don't know, there are kids in the area and they're probably just running around. Or there are kids playing or something. But to assume the worst and get out your gun. I mean, fine, have your gun with you, but what's with this shoot first, ask question later mentality? It's just mind-boggling that this is continuing. And I'm sure he saw the news. I'm sure he's seen that this has been happening. So he decides to do it himself. It's just, I don't understand what is going through their heads. Oh yes, nothing, because they've been taught to be afraid of anything and everything that moves. And before I get accused of, no, the NRA has never done that, I still remember a story, this was from years ago, where a guy sees a shadow sneaking into his bedroom. So what does he do? He picks up the gun on his side table and shoots. It turns out it was his daughter surprising him. So he will spend the rest of his life not only because probably in jail because he murdered someone, but knowing that his jitteriness and his believing that he needs to be afraid of anything and everything that moves killed his kid. So this has been happening for a long time. It's just more frequent now, or possibly we just know of more of these instances. But it's been happening for years. This isn't a new phenomenon of and yes, it is the NRA, because what is the best way to sell guns? Is to sell fear. Is to tell people to be afraid and that they need a gun for protection. So these dipshits do just that and decide, and because they were taught to be afraid and not taught that they are supposed to, oh, I don't know, how to be a responsible gun owner and take classes and maybe learn how not to be a jittery dipshit, they just shoot, and then they're surprised when someone that they shot at got hit, and at best only got injured, and at worst got killed. And then they're surprised that they actually shot someone. What the hell? Why are you thinking like this? How are you letting the NRA tell you that you should be afraid of your own shadow? Why are you letting people tell you to live in fear? You know, it's funny. People claim Democrats live in fear because we want, oh, I don't know, we don't want to see people walking around with guns or afraid that they're gonna just start shooting. Well, when you see shit like this, of course we have a reason to be concerned. We have a reason to be concerned because it happens. People shoot because they get into an argument, and apparently instead of talking, the best way of dealing with the situation is to kill the other one. We have people who do things like this. Someone comes to the door by accident and thinks that they're at the right house. Let's shoot them. Or someone pulls into the wrong driveway. Let's shoot them. Or someone plays hide and seek. Let's shoot them. What the hell? At what point are gun owners going to look at this and say, and I know that there are plenty of responsible gun owners that don't do this because, well, they're responsible gun owners, but how many of these people look at the news and hear about these shootings and think, yep, that's why I have a gun, because you never know. And that's their takeaway, as opposed to, oh no, you shouldn't shoot guns in these instances, that's just silly. It's just, I wish it would stop. And the only way for it to stop is to get guns out of the hands of these dipshits. But Congress won't do that because the NRA is giving them plenty of money to keep as many guns on the street. And then you have dipshits like Greg Abbott who insists that it's a mental health issue, which he's not wrong. Mental health is a part of it. But then he cuts funding to mental health programs because we want more shootings. So how do you expect to be taken seriously? And how do you expect to that Democrats aren't going to be instinctively be afraid of people with guns. And there are plenty of Democrats who have guns, but you know what? They're responsible. And because they're responsible, people don't see them coming a mile away and freak out because they have a gun, because they know that they're not going to get shot for no fucking reason. Or for the absolute flimsiest of reasons. This is just maddening. People like Greg Abbott sees this and thinks, okay, well, it's a mental health issue, but we're just gonna not fund mental health. And then, but we're gonna let these people who are mentally unstable, have guns. And that's if they're mentally unstable. I don't think they are. I don't think these people are mentally unstable. A lot of these people just have been taught that they're supposed to be afraid of everything that moves. So, mental illness doesn't even enter into this. Unless you want to call people who fall for this bullshit mentally ill. But that's a very broad definition of mental illness, being suckered. Because a lot of people have been suckered by something at some point in their lives. So to claim that is just to leave mental illness devoid of all meaning. So yeah, some of them may be mentally ill. So what the hell are they doing with guns to begin with? And these jittery fucks who they see something move and they immediately shoot at it because they were taught to be afraid of everything, they definitely shouldn't have guns either, because who wants someone to be around someone who has a gun who's jittery and or maybe he was just so excited to shoot at someone because he wanted to be seen as a hero or something. These people should not have guns. And I will bet you anything that these these mistake-filled shootings, like in this case, these were legal guns. Under no circumstances should any of these people who just shot at people for no damn reason, except for the fact that you're afraid of your own shadow, under no circumstances should these people be possessing guns. Because they have shown they cannot handle that. Because whatever happened to, and I'm sure I've said this before, whatever happened to looking outside, seeing a bunch of kids playing, which, come on, if you're playing hide and seek, this isn't a new game that middle-aged people or elderly people never heard of. It's hide and seek. So, how can you look at that and immediately think, I need to get my gun? Most people will at least yell at the kids and say, play your games elsewhere or something. Let them know that they're not welcome there. Most people, even kids, even teenagers, as much of a pain in the butt teenagers are, most of them will listen to you. If you tell them that you don't want them playing in your yard for whatever reason, they'll leave. Or just show them that you have a gun as opposed to firing the damn thing. That'll scare them. They'll leave. You don't even have to actually fire the damn thing. It's just maddening that this is becoming more and more frequent, or at least more and more known, that people are getting shot for the absolute dumbest reasons. I'm glad that this 14-year-old girl is going to be okay, because she did not deserve to be shot at. Even if, like I said, it probably was not the smartest idea to play hide and seek in someone else's yard. That okay, that unless it's one of your friends' parents' house of one of your friends, you probably shouldn't be playing in their yard. But that's not worthy of being shot. I could think of a lot of reasons. None of these shootings that have been happening lately even make the list. Pulling into the wrong driveway, playing hide and seek, picking up your brothers from the wrong house. None of those are worthy of being shot. So, yeah, I know I'm a broken record. I know I said this many times, but it keeps happening and nothing is done. Why? Because obviously the right for everyone to be armed to the teeth is much more important than kids being able to play without getting shot. And it's just maddening because that's not even what the Second Amendment says. And it's just so discouraging that these people are so obsessed with the Second Amendment that they don't give a shit about any of the others. Yes, you want a gun? Fine. Nobody is stopping you. If you're not mentally deranged, if you're not a jittery fuck that will shoot anything that moves, if you're a responsible gun owner, fine. I live in North Central Wisconsin. I have no problem with hunting season because it's a sport as long as you're doing it responsibly, even though I do very much root for the deer. Still, you want to do that? Fine. I have a friend who actually eats what he kills, which, a lot of people just treat it like a sport and leave the carcass wherever. But it feeds other animals, it feeds humans. It just there is good from hunting. So I'm never going to say no guns ever. But come on. This is ridiculous. To just shoot people because they're playing in your yard. It's just madness that people seem to think that because they have a Second Amendment right to have a gun, that means any old Joe Schmo should have a gun under any circumstances, and there should be no oversight at all, no regulation. All the other amendments have it. The First Amendment has regulations, so why can't the Second? It's just not everybody should have a gun. It's so irresponsible for everybody to have a gun. Nor is that what the Second Amendment says. I'm already allowing for more than what the Second Amendment is allowing for. So it just, I don't know. I'm just so sick and tired of all these stupid ass shootings. I actually long for the days when there was a reason behind shootings, because at least that made nominal sense. Now it's just, let's shoot anything that moves because, well, we were taught to be afraid of everything. Not everything is scary. And it's people like this that actually makes a lot of people, like, if I saw someone I didn't know walk towards me with a gun, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near them. And depending on who that person is that I know who has a gun, I probably wouldn't want to be near them either. But if it's someone I know who's a responsible gun owner, I wouldn't be scared to see someone with a gun. Unfortunately, because of people like this, we have a reason to be scared of people coming towards us with a gun. Because even if they're just walking with a gun strapped on them and not causing any damage, you don't know when he's going to lose his shit and start shooting. And yes, it's usually a him. It's a rarity that you hear of a woman shooting anything. So I just don't know what the solution is besides, oh, I don't know, preventing people like this from owning a gun because they obviously do not deserve that. They don't deserve the right to have that gun because they're too damn stupid. And unfortunately, the NRA encourages people to live in fear because, that sells more guns. And so then it ends up in the hands of people who do not deserve to be carrying guns because shit like this happens. And I'm just repeating myself at this point, so I will leave it there and I will see you in the next video.